Welcome to Everything Programming Pro. So in today's video, we are going to learn how to handle forms in React. That is how to handle forms in React.js application. Okay, how to handle forms in React.js application. Now, forms are a very tricky part of any application. If you, for example, for anyone who is a beginner or maybe someone who is experienced, forms always take a toll, right? So because they do have a lot of validations and a lot of other things that are there. So today we'll be creating a very simple login form, right? And we'll be using a library. It's a design library called ant-d, but they also provide us with a form component with some inbuilt things that will be talking about, right? So first of all, you can open any IDE of your choice, maybe a code sandbox or any code editor, maybe a VS Code with a React project running. So I am in a this code sandbox. So first of all, we have to install ant-d. So in code sandbox, it's very simple. You just have to search it in the dependencies and hit enter, and it will automatically save the things for you. So for others, you have to do npm, that is npm I and d. For others who don't are not using code sandbox, they'll have to do this, or maybe yarn install and d. And anything can work. npx and npm, all of those things will work. So let's quickly make a form component. So I'll tell you why I'm writing it like this. So we'll write a form component, and here we will be writing our form, or again I'll write export const form component is equal to again arrow function, and we'll be returning a simple div, and just like this. So if we put it as form, let's save it and go to applications, and now we form component, right? Just like this. So you can see our form is here. So let's now start building our form component. That was just to show how we are going to import it. So since we have already have the and as dependency here, so let's quickly write form, and it will automatically import it from and d. If you see, right now we have a form wrapper here. Now we will start building a form from this point, right? So before this, you will have to have some logic here. You will have to extract the form function, right? That I'll tell you where it will be used. We write form dot use form, right? And simply like this. Now, so again, this wrapper needs some items to work. First of all, we have to name what our form is. So let's say login underscore form, right? And if you hit control and space bar, you will see what are all the props that this form wrapper accepts, right? So let's first of all give it, because again, if so there are few things that we have to uh, keep in mind that we begin with. Okay, let's start it this way. So let's build our first form item. That is, we write form dot item, and this will, what will this contain? This will contain an input, right? And this input we can again get from ant, because we are using ant d. Now here we write the name of the input as name, then placeholder will write or maybe we can put it as email, right? Because we're going to build a email, this login form, and enter your email, right? So as you can see, as we start writing our input, this input here, you'll see it is started to reflect, right? So we have entered input, and next thing we are going to do is add some props to form item, right? So maybe we want to put a, okay, we want to put a validation, right? So we can also put a validation here. For validations and be used again, if you want to see what all props this particular wrapper contains, you are again control and you hit spacebar, you will see this particular thing, and if below, if you will scroll, it will have something called as rules, right? So rules contain an array of objects. First of all, if this is a required the thing, what is required, that means if you don't enter it, it will hit throw an error. So we'll write required, REQUI, required as true, right? uh can we do it like this? Or okay, sorry, we have to, this is an array of objects, right? So to put objects, we have to put an object and put it as this. So I'll just hit save here, and our first this thing is, and it's ready. And second, again, I'll just copy this item and I'll put it as again here. And instead of this, enter your password, and this will be a password field. And again, this is true. This will be password. Sorry, I think I changed the wrong. My bad. I changed the wrong this. So I'll just copy this. I'll just paste it again, and I'll enter your password, and name will be password, and again type will be password, so that we have the stars over here. And again here we can put a type as email, so that this gives a basic validation already, right? So inside this we'll put a button as well, a button that again uh, is a form item, right? So I'll just copy this form item from here and I put it here, and like this form item is here. We'll again use a button from Andy, and I'll write submit, and you can see a submit button is also ready. So one more thing we can, since you can see this form looks a lot bigger, and as the screen size increases, the form size will also increase. So we can put a prop right over here, a style prop that tells the form about a max width or a margin and whatever you want to add, right? So I'll put it as style, and again it's a object. We'll write max. Now again vanilla css, so we'll put 400 pixels, and margin again auto. I'll save this. Let's say it's tries transpiling modules. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so you can see our form is a lot smaller. So let's again, I think 300 pixels should be fine. Yeah, it is fine. And this particular form will come here as form is equal to form. I'll tell you why. So since this is a form component and we have not created everything from scratch, and it gives us some functionality. For example, what will happen when you click on submit? For example, if all your checks, so this form component give access to if everything goes well, that means that is no errors. And then if there are errors, so there are two things. So for example, if everything goes fine, that will called on success, right? And if something fails, it will be called as, you can name any these functions as per your convenience, on failure again. But these functions need to be passed to this form component, and so that these can be handled, right? Or maybe instead of on success we can write on finish, right? So on here what we'll have to do is on finish, we write on finish, right? And yeah, this is it. And I think required is here, and since we have not, will not put required we'll put as false. Just on submit we have done this, and we have a button that is also there. Then we have a password field that is also there, and button is here. Cool. So let's quickly enter some values and hit submit. So on finish gets a prop from the form wrapper. So I'll simply console.log, I'll write as values, and at console values here, right? So let's open this in new tab, and I'll go to inspect so that I can have access to console. So either ways, the link of this console and this code sandbox will be in the description. You can also fiddle with it and check out your expenses. Yeah, so I'll quickly open the inspect tab and open the console. So let's enter some email @email.com, and password as something password. So now if I hit enter, nothing is happening. So I figured out that we were doing some mistake in one of the spellings. So we have to write required, REQUIRED, and required, and let's try to save. It still is not working. Okay, yeah. So since it's a form component, you have to tell the form that you are actually submitting it. So this button is actually of type submit. Now, this is not a required field, but this is a required field. So still it's not okay. So name is here. We have to similarly put a name is equal to email again, because we have to tell the form, right, that which one is the this part. So now if you can see, it says email is required, and it will not let you submit. So if we go to our this page, the other one that we opened in the other tab, I'll just zoom in a little bit. So if you hit enter, it right now it says email is required. You can customize this message as well. Right after this required, you can write message and you can put email is a required field. You now hit to save, and if you go here and again if you hit let's just test it out in this particular section only. So also since there is an on finish event, I mean, and similarly there is on finish failed as well. So we'll write on failure, right? And again we'll write error here and we'll simply console.log errors, and we write errors just like this. So you can see now if I hit enter, errors is not defined. Okay, sorry, we have to write error, right? So you can see as I hit submit, it says email is a required field. Similarly, if I do the same thing for password now, I'll just copy paste the above one and change password is a required field. Now if I hit enter, similarly we'll have to write name is equal to password here and hit save. Now if I enter, you can see password is a required field again, right? So this way you can customize a lot of things on this form. For example, you want that password should be of minimum 6 digit, right? So in this rule section, you add another object and you hit, if you control and enter, you can see max, min, message, pattern. You can do all kind of those things. I'll link this particular web page in the description. You can read more about it. But right now I just hit min and I'll put it as, sorry, I put it as min and I write as 6. This means 6 is the minimum value this will accept, otherwise it will give an error. Minimum minimum should be 6 letters. And now hit I save. Even if I write 1 2 3, you can see it already says minimum should be 6 letters. And now as soon as I cross 6, it's not giving me an error. Now if I submit, you can see email is a required field. As soon as I enter an email at the rate email.com, now it is not having any errors, right? The value of this you will get in on finish event, and any errors you will get right over here. Let's quickly have a look at this and then we can wrap this video. So I write email at the rate email.com and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and if I enter, you can see I'm getting these values in the finish event. And if I don't do it, if I again hit enter, now I'll get errors and it will tell that in which field what error is and what all of those kind of things will come here. So this is how you handle forms in React. And this was one of a very basic form, but if you just hit another object here and hit control and space bar, you can see how many things you can validate here. You can validate a type, you can again put a pattern, you can put a regex, you can put a length and enum values as well. So that's all for this video, and if you have any questions, do let me know in the comment section, or you can join the Telegram channel that is in the description of this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.